Up+Adam.
Tractor systems are offline.
We are Beyond FM.
Beyond FM.
The future of broadcasting is here.
Up+Adam with Adam Montiel. It's community content from Concentrate. It's Up+Adam with Adam Montiel.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Yes, some say life is just where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
Happy Monday, and thank you for being Up+Adam. Thank you so much for being here, for connecting. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. I'm Adam Montiel. Gorgeous outside. Cooling down a little bit. It's nice, right? Now, what if the biggest change you could make in your life is to stop trying to change your life? That's the contrarian idea behind Waking Up with Ryan. It's a new daily podcast from iHeart, hosted by Coach Ryan Weiss. After years of working privately with founders, creatives, public figures, Ryan's taken the intimate conversations that transformed lives behind closed doors, and he's turning them into a 10-minute morning practice designed to help you slow down, tune in, and remember who you already are. His journey has taken him from the stage in Wicked on Broadway to the entertainment industry, and ultimately to a life centered on what he calls emotional fitness. I love this. Where he believes the answers we're chasing, they've been there all along. But it's not just a chat about mindfulness or go-getter motivation. It's really about the contradictions that we all live with. How do you build a daily media machine while teaching people to slow down? What happens when a private coach has to speak to a microphone instead of across from a single human being like he's been used to for years? And even he gets into what new fatherhood has taught a guy who spent 17 years helping others find their emotional footing. Ryan's going to join us in a couple minutes. I think it's going to be a really cool, fulfilling conversation. Looking forward to it. Before we get into it, the only really headline, it's not even so much a headline, is did you see that there was a post from the Carissa? The Carissa is a downtown business right around Higuera and Garden. Maybe a little west of Garden Street on Higuera. Used to be owned by the folks who own Slow Brew. Well, now it's still owned by the people who own like The Rock Slow Brew, but it's not owned by the people who do Rod and Hammer. So Hamish Marshall, Rodney, like they've separated from them. And this post on the Carissa was so weird. And everyone is talking about like, what's going on? And it says in big red writing, $1,000 reward. So you're like, oh, something's missing, da-da-da. And then it says, $1,000 reward, you have 72 hours. The Carissa is offering a $1,000 reward for the first person that shows proof that our ABC liquor license, issued November 15th, 2025, under new ownership, was revoked for serving minors. Did anyone, I guess someone must be saying this. I think there was the drama that the people who own that former place might have had with it. I mean, we've seen this at other, restaurants downtown. They get popped for serving. They get something wrong with the permit. So I guess this person is trying to say, but then they drop Hamish's name, and I'm just going to read it to you. In fact, our temporary license expired. The permanent license that was supposed to be signed over to the new owners. However, Hamish Marshall is using this as leverage. Now, they don't mention the new owners, even though it's the new owners that are writing this. We are currently suing Hamish Marshall and his company for millions in damages. 3 exclamation points. He is also being sued by the owner-landlord of the Carissa building, Westpac Higuera LLC. Our attorneys will actively pursue any person, entity that is making false accusations, exclamation point. We also have a digital forensic investigators determining who is spreading false info online, exclamation point. We are temporarily becoming a zero-proof bar restaurant. During this period, we are pursuing court actions against Hamish Marshall. Below is the link to the ABC site. Search via address. You'll find 0 violations since the new ownership in capitals on 11/15/2025. Just weird. Like, I don't know who wrote that. And it seems so like, like just freaking out. I swear to God, nobody does crisis management in this town, like as far as like businesses. So wild. So this thing just looks really kind of, it just reads from a PR standpoint, like even if everything's right, let's say maybe people have been saying, oh, they have their license this way, and it was really the old owners. Like, what are you tripping on? Like, to kind of petulantly come out and just like spew and spaz out like this, it just seems odd to me. I don't get it. I don't get it. So I'm trying to get down to like what really happened, what's going on. There's a great Reddit post. It's called the Carissa Drama. And there's some pretty sizable comments that might seem, I don't want to just read this without getting down to if it's true or not, but you can go check it out on Reddit, see what's going on. Oh, somebody actually posted the court sheets. Oh, wow, look at that. Yeah, so there's a lot going on in the Carissa. Who knows? I swear to God, I feel like that place has been plagued and kind of just cursed from the beginning. So we'll see what's going on with that. I'll get more to the bottom, but I just don't want to come out here and, it's fine to spew something you think you know and maybe wrong and just correct it. But, I don't want to just kind of pontificate on stuff if I don't have even more background than I do now. So we'll leave that maybe for tomorrow. I want to get right into today's show. Anyways, I'm really excited to do it. Before that, I want to do a little quick PSA about parking downtown slow, because you can park for free downtown slow. Yeah, thanks to our friends at La Esquina, Mama's Meatball, and Mistura, 3 great restaurants. They're validating your parking when you park in the new parking structure at Napomo and Palm. It's the new Cultural Arts District parking structure. Yeah, the new one, Napomo and Palm. Check it out. Then head into La Esquina, Mama's Meatball, or Mistura, and they will give you free parking. That's right, they'll validate it. 2 hours free parking. Park, eat, validate, done. That was a check off, not like a gun loading. I didn't realize that sounded kind of ambiguous. Yeah, no, it's that easy. So you go to slowfreeparking.com. You can link up to my friends, those fantastic restaurants, and get downtown, and let's support downtown. What do you say?
It's Up and Adam with Adam Montiel.
All right, from performing in Wicked on Broadway to working behind the scenes in entertainment to spending the last almost 20 years helping people navigate stress, anxiety, and the stories that they tell themselves. Ryan Weiss has taken a pretty remarkable path. Now he's bringing that work to the masses with Waking Up with Ryan, a new daily podcast from iHeart that invites listeners to start each morning with one simple practice instead of one more thing to chase, right? We're going to talk about how he believes we don't need to become someone new. What happens when a private coach steps behind a microphone, and why the first 10 minutes of your day might just change the rest of your day. Really looking forward to having you here. Ryan, thank you so much for being Up and Adam.
Oh, Adam, the privilege is truly mine.
For 17 years, people paid to sit right across from Ryan Weiss. Not millions, but one person at a time. What part of private coaching almost got lost the moment you put a microphone between you and the listener? How did that work for you?
How do you know exactly the question to ask, my friend? That is a brilliant question. It's funny because when I was in the conversation when iHeart Media had come to me and said, you got to have a podcast. Let's build something together. And the idea to take these daily morning emails that I used to send out a long time ago and turn it into a podcast came up. I said I want it to be daily. And they said, are you crazy? Like, you're going to create daily content? Most people just do one a week, and that's already too much. I said, no problem. I'll go in the studio. You'll set it up. We'll push record, and it'll just flow right out of me. Wow. That was pretty arrogant, because the first day I sat down with a microphone in my face, looking at a camera, and it was like I couldn't speak. I had nothing to say. I couldn't connect to the message. I felt like a total amateur, imbecile, imposter. That's the word, an imposter. And what I came to realize in hindsight, like reflecting on the day, was, I've had a career working one-on-one with people and also speaking to large groups of people. And when I'm in the room with somebody, it's about the relationship. It's a conversation where I'm asking questions and communicating to meet them directly where they're at. And sitting in a studio, I didn't have that person to talk to, and I felt lost. And so I did what I always do, which is I reflected on a line from a text called A Course in Miracles that says, is it fair to assume that this universe would assign you with a task, but not give you the means to meet its accomplishment? And I really felt that this podcast was an assignment. It wasn't something that I went out there looking for. It's something that came to me as a result of saying to the universe, what would you have me do next? Show me, show me, show me. And this podcast arose. So I felt like it was an assignment for the universe. So I had to remind myself, well, this is an assignment, which means the universe has already given me what I need to do it and to do it well. So I said to the universe, show me, I really need help here. I think I maybe need to go back to iHeart and give them their money back and cancel this contract because I don't know if I can do this. What happened as a result of that prayer was later that day, a friend came over who's been going through some really hard stuff. And this is a man who's quite buttoned up with his emotions. And for whatever reason that day, he felt vulnerable enough. We sat outside and he kind of lost it. He just was talking to me about some of the hardships and he started crying and he let me give him a hug and he just kind of collapsed in my arms. The next morning I had scheduled the second recording session. I went into the studio. I looked down at my iPad to see what the theme for the episode was for that day. And when I looked up to start talking to the camera, my friend from the day before, his face was in the camera. And I just talked to him. And I said, thank you, universe, for showing me how I'm going to do this. So now what I've done for the last many episodes that I've recorded is I look at the theme for the day and I ask myself, who's one person in my life that I've recently connected to who could benefit from hearing this message? I look up, I see their face in the camera and I talk directly to them. And it's funny because I, used to work in entertainment and very aware of kind of the marketing world. And one of the things they say in marketing is if you try to talk to everyone, you'll talk to no one. But if you talk to one person, you'll talk to everyone.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, from coming from 20 plus years in the radio business, it's beautiful that this medium reaches masses, but it does it one-on-one. They used to tell us back in the day, you work for a radio station. It's who's your demo? Oh, 32-year-old female. I got a picture of Heather Locklear and put it in front of me. And that's what she was, a 32-year-old female. And you'd put it right, in front of you. I'm talking to one person. And that's why we use words like you. We don't go you guys or hey, everyone. It's one-on-one. It's so awesome that you really connected with that, especially with that situation with your friend and really go, I'm talking to one person. I love contradictions because they sometimes usually kind of show us that's where the truth lives. And you built, again, this daily podcast. I do mine daily. I get it. It is a grind. I came from morning radio, so I'm used to the daily, but deadlines, production, distro, guests, promotion. I mean, it sounds busy, yet the message you're sending very much every morning is slow down. How do you know when you're teaching stillness versus accidentally outrunning the very thing you're asking other people to find?
Great question. I think you know it by checking in with how you feel. So for me, especially, the podcast only launched 2 weeks ago, not even 2 weeks ago. Tomorrow will be 2 weeks. And so it's been a lot of launch events and all the marketing and publicity and posting on social media and managing a team. And fortunately, I've been doing this work long enough to have the self-awareness to notice, my heart is racing. My mind is going a million miles a second. Let me take a moment. And I think an older version of me thought, I need to go take an hour-long yoga class, or I need to go do a 30-minute meditation. And who has time for that? What this version of me knows is it only takes about a second to pause, to drop in, to feel what's here, to become aware of what's going on in my mind. And the moment I do that, it's everything just slows down. And then this kind of remembrance of, why am I doing this? What is this for? And then the most important thing, it's not up to me. It's not up to me how many people listen to this podcast. It's not up to me whether they like it or not. This is an act of service. It's something that I feel really connected to. And quite honestly, I do it selfishly. I do it for myself because I love being in connection with the universe. There's a line in A Course in Miracles that says, you are not the water, you are the faucet. And you are to remember that you have this physical body almost like it's a channel through which you can allow the brilliance of love and creation and creativity to flow. And that's true whether you're someone like me as a coach or now a podcaster. That's true if you're a singer-songwriter, a dancer, but that's also true if you're a lawyer, if you're a mathematician, if you are, service staff at a restaurant. Like, your job is to open yourself to let the universe move through you. And that requires you to slow down enough to notice when the mind is trying to speed up. And that's why having a morning practice is so important, which is why this podcast comes out just 10 minutes every morning to remind you to take a second to connect with yourself before the world tells you who you are.
No matter what you're doing, whoever's listening to this, it's like, I think of like some of the things like, you and I might have like unique jobs day to day. Oh, I might be hosting this, you're hosting that. And it's like, if you can be of service, and I mean, there's been some times where you could be doing like the most wildest gig and you just look up and pray, just use me. I mean, if I could be used for one person or whatever I'm doing, I mean, and you've spent years performing, then years helping performers, then years helping people like stop performing. When did you realize that like the biggest role people play, Ryan, isn't on a stage? It's like pretending that they're okay.
Oh, I did not know you were going to go there. Well, I realized that for myself when I realized it for myself. I was blessed about 10 years ago. My friend Sophia Bush, who people may know, invited me to join her and a group of friends to go to a place called On-Site, which is a trauma-informed experiential therapy healing center outside of Nashville, Tennessee. And it was there that we started learning about addiction and codependency and narcissism and emotional avoidance. And the work really shifted for me because at that point, for the majority of my own healing life, it was really about the metaphysical, the meditation, the spiritual, the remembering who you are as this incredible, brilliant universe. And all of that is real and all of that is true. But what I found at On-Site was that also requires you to be in touch with the parts of you that you don't like to show the world. So you asked the question, it's like the role that you're playing of who you want the world to believe that you are. Well, why? Why do you want the world to believe that you are a certain version of yourself? Because you believe that if you show yourself or if you show the world that version of you, then they're going to love and accept you, which means it must mean that you believe that you are not lovable and accepted as all of you, of what you are, including your guilt, your shame, your sadness, your anger, all of that. And what I found at On-Site was that I'm not showing other people the truth of me, meaning the parts of me that I try to hide away. I'm not showing that to others because I don't like showing that to myself. And what I learned there was how to be in relationship and love the parts of me that have been hidden away from a lifetime of pain and doubt and fear and experiencing all these rips without repairs. Once I started learning to be in relationship with those parts of me, which just means allowing them to be there. When you feel, when fear is coursing through your body, pausing for a moment to actually feel it rather than scrolling away from it or drinking away from it or smoking away from it or working away from it, pausing to be in touch with it, let it be there. I allow this pain. I bring it on. I welcome it as a part of me that's asking for my love and attention. That's what I want the world to do because I believe the world is in so much pain caused by competition and needing to prove ourselves and needing to fight tribal wars, all because we believe that we are these separate people. I want all of us to embrace all of ourselves because when we stop fighting with ourselves, we won't have to fight so much with others.
Oh boy, look at this. This is great stuff. Well, look, and the show, Ryan, isn't called Changing Your Life. It's called Waking Up. And that's a very different promise. Do you think most of us are asleep or just distracted? And how important is emotional intelligence these days and tuning in or EQ?
Beautiful question. Beautiful, beautiful question. In the Old Testament, it says that Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge, right? They ate the fruit of the tree of knowledge and they fell asleep. But nowhere does it say that they ever woke up. And so all of us are it's like we're in this dream in Sanskrit, it's called the Leela, the dream, or a play. And so, yes, we're asleep at the wheel because we're believing that we're something that we're not. You're believing that you are this body. You're believing that you're your roles, your responsibilities, your name, how much money you have, how much money you don't have, whether people respect you, love you or not. And in that nightmare, really, just like when you're having a nightmare at night, it seems very, very real, doesn't it? You know, you in your sleep, you may be screaming out, but as soon as you wake up from it, you come to realize, wow, that actually seemed very real, but it wasn't very real. And so what I want to help people recognize is the trying to change yourself, the trying to better yourself is actually just trying to better the nightmare, trying to better the dream. And what I want for you to do is to recognize that you have an opportunity to wake up right here, right now, not by doing any work, actually by stopping the work, stopping the seeking, and recognizing that who you really are, the awareness that you really are, that you always have been, that you are right now, that you always will be before this body, after this body, that this you, which is the everything, dare I say, it is the divine itself, is waiting for you right now to rest back into it. That's why in Jewish culture, we have the Sabbath on Friday night. We stop the work and we make sacred this time where we stop doing so that we can rest back into who we always are. Now, the role of emotional intelligence in this is that who you really are is the awareness that is capable of being aware of everything. It's the false sense of self that says, I don't have the capacity to be aware of this fear, so I need to run away from it or distract myself. I don't have the capacity to be aware of this guilt, so I'm going to make somebody else wrong. I don't have the ability to be aware of this shame, so I'm going to go to the gym more so that my body can be better, so that I don't have to feel ashamed of myself. That's the false sense of self that believes I do not have the emotional bandwidth to be aware of this discomfort. But who you really are, when you continue and how you continue to wake up to who you really are, is expanding your sense of self to recognize you are actually the capacity to be aware of whatever is arising. And it doesn't take much. My teacher, Gangaji, says it takes 1/12 of a second to pause and be aware. And the more you are aware of your thoughts, aware of your feelings, rather than just them happening and reacting, stimulus, response, the more you build space between the stimulus, whether it's something happening to you, an email, a text message, or a thought, I don't like myself. They don't like me. Whatever that stimulus is, your job is to build space between the stimulus and the response so you can be aware of what's happening inside of you, hold space for it, allow it, love it, and then respond to life. That's how you build a powerful life, and that's how you remember who you really are.
My fiance and I, Ryan, have been doing a lot of our own individual work, and she's talked a lot lately about cognitive flexibility. And it's so interesting. It's like, what are we actually hungry for? Or is it more about tweaking the lens of the appetite? What I'm willing to deal with. Let me try this, like stepping outside. What do you think?
Well, tell me a little more about that.
Well, I mean, just like as we're planning the wedding, it's like, you have your heart set on something and you have your mind set on something, and someone else another hand gets dealt to you. So like just kind of being flexible. You know what? I'm not going to be hungry for that of something I can't have. More like I'm going to be, cognitively flexible and go, oh, okay. And almost like tweaking the lens of what I was hungry for in a way, if that makes sense.
That's good. Thank you for that clarity. That really makes a lot of sense to me. I think what you're talking about is attachment. So, you have your desires. You want your wedding to go a certain way and you want the plans to go a certain way. I know in my own life for our wedding, we had this gorgeous venue in Mendocino and we were doing this massive glamping, 4 days, 125 people. It was gorgeous.
Love it up
and
there.
1 week beforehand, our wedding planner called and said, it is going to pour rain on your wedding day. And we said, no way. We picked this date so that we'd have a date where it was still green. It hadn't turned yellow yet or brown, but it wasn't going to rain. And she was like, I'm sorry to tell you, it's going to rain on your parade. And we said, no way. And she said, you got to take this seriously. We're going to have to build these tents. You can no longer get married at the place that you wanted to get married because there's no way to cover that area. and we grieved, right? We sat with, this is reality. And I think that's one of the things in life that you need to recognize, is that you are not in control of what happens to you. You are not in control. And the biggest way to embrace that is to recognize that even the hardest crap in life is actually happening for you. I believe that completely. It's happening for you so that you can learn what you're talking about, this cognitive flexibility. What I've noticed is, and I saw this at our own wedding, that rain that did pour down on our wedding day made our wedding so intimate, so beautiful, so miraculous, so connected. I remember we had the blessing of having Leanne Rimes sing as a surprise. I mean, I knew about it, sing to us our first dance song, a cappella, because the track wasn't working because the rain of the thing wasn't letting the sound system. So she starts singing a cappella with the sound of the rain crashing down on this gorgeous tent, right? And it just made everything so much more. People to this day still talk about how incredible our wedding was. And I think it was because of that thing that came in that shifted our lanes, and that we were available to open to it and to trust, okay, this is happening in my life, whether it's a health condition, a scary diagnosis, a breakup, financial hardship. We spend so much time. In fact, there's a podcast episode from last week called The Solution Already Exists. And the idea of this was, we spend so much time focusing on the presence of a problem. What am I going to do about this problem? How am I going to solve this problem? Why is this happening to me? What am I going to do about it? We focus so much on the problem. Then we go to lunch with our friends, talk about the problem. We give so much attention to the problem. A Course in Miracles says, however, that the moment the problem occurred, the moment the problem was created in your life, so was the solution. The solution came the moment the problem came, but it's the illusion of time that keeps them separate. And the role of a miracle, which is the miracle is just a shift in your thinking from fear to love. The role of a miracle is to collapse that time so that you say to the universe, okay, this problem, this challenge has come into my life. I'm willing to see the solution. Show me, show me, show me, show me, show me, show me, show me.
I love that. Let me wrap with asking you about feeling stuck, because everyone has ways in their life. Me, it's my weight. I want to get some pounds down, especially for the wedding, but for just my life, right? And there's aspects where people face something and they feel stuck. They feel weighed down, almost drowning by it. What are some things that we could tell ourselves, no matter what it is, if it's weight, if it's a job, if it's a relationship that's abusive, when we're stuck, Ryan?
Wow. Oh, I just want to give you a big hug. One of the things that I would say to you is to say to yourself, and I'm saying it to you now, you are perfect, whole, and lovable exactly as you are. The idea that losing the few pounds so that you can look better and feel better on your wedding day, the idea that that is going to bring you some sense of lasting happiness is a part of the illusion. As the Buddha said, the things of the world, even your body is a thing of the world. The things of the world bring temporary happiness at best. The thing that's going to give you lasting joy and happiness is the remembrance that who you really are is eternally deserving of love and belonging, whether the world shows you that or not. So that's the first thing I'd say, is say to yourself, and even if it's hard, even if you don't believe it, I am willing, just say that, I am willing to know that I am loved exactly as I am. I am willing to love myself exactly as I am, no matter what. That's number one. Number two is embrace reality as it is. Right. So if it's the few pounds, if it's the diagnosis, if it's I don't know what I'm doing with my life and therefore I feel super stuck, I want you to embrace that as an opportunity for you to open yourself to the universe, to say, how would you have me deal with this? Where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say, and to whom? Guide my steps. Bring me angels to light the path toward exactly what you would have happen in my life. Because the problem with stuckness is that we believe it's never going to change no matter how much we want it to change. And the opportunity is not for you to figure out how to change it, your small separate sense of self, but rather for you to open to the divinity of this universe to say, you show me the path forward.
Ryan Weiss, Waking Up with Ryan. We got the links in the show notes. Just 2 weeks in. I'm so excited for you. This is such an exciting time for you, my man. I'd wish you luck, but it's not fair to people who need it. This has been a lot of fun. I really appreciate your time, my man.
Oh, my pleasure. It's a real privilege. Hope to talk to you again soon.
Some say life's where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
All right, great chat. Waking Up with Ryan. Listen to it right after this podcast. It's only 10 minutes. Listen to it right before. I'm sure it's a fantastic show. I'm looking forward to getting on my own pattern. I heard one episode. It was great. And yeah, I'm excited. I love the chat with him. I thought it was great. So thanks again, Ryan, for being here and for being Up and Adam. Real pleasure. All right, I want to thank our friends at Benny's Pizza for being Up and Adam. There are some places, look, we got 25, 30 different pizza joints, but Benny's, ain't nothing like Benny's Pizza. That thick Detroit style majesty. Oh, crispy pan-fired crust. Sauce on top, on bottom. Who cares? It doesn't matter because it's still so good. Happy hour Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6:30. 3.5 domestic cans, $2 off premium beer and wine. Some great food specials with that hit the spot. Check out the patio. Check them out for lunch. 805-439-3838. Order up. Upper Monterey Street, downtown SLO, 1601 Monterey. Again, 439-3838. Benny's Pizza. Check them out. All right, also want to thank my friends at The Mountaineer for being Up and Adam. Love Josh and Lindsay Herring. Such good folks, local neighbors. And if you're even thinking about, I'm going to run to REI. What? These guys have been doing this 50 years. And it's not transactional. It's local. It's like neighborly. It's like if Mayberry, old reference there for you. It's like if Mayberry had an outdoor shop. These guys have been helping locals get outside at all skill levels for over 50 years. Hiking, camping, climbing, whatever it is. Check them out, themountaineer.com. Also, Used Gear. 2 doors down, their sister shop, The Switchback. You can go to theswitchback.com, themountaineer.com, The Mountain Air, San Luis Obispo. When you go in there, please let them know you heard them right here on Up and Adam. All right. Want to thank you so much for beginning your week here. Hope you're having a great day, a great Monday, and beginning a wonderful, unstoppable week for yourself. Thanks to Moonshiner Collective for original music on the show called Start Again. August 14th, they got their Under the Moon concert series happening at Dairy Creek. Learn more, get your tickets, moonshinercollective.com. Well, you know by now, this show recorded at SloCal Studios, baby, in the heart of San Luis Obispo County, California. SloCal, where the wine is world class, the people are real, and life is too beautiful to rush. Returns well taken. Visit SloCal.com. That's SLOCAL, SloCal.com. All right, till tomorrow. Hope your day going fantastic. I'm Adam Montiel. Thanks again for being Up and Adam.
Some say life's where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again. Let's start again. We'll start again. Let's start